In this video, you're going to be taking a look at the Aerial Deluxe Clone Trooper from the Revenge of the Sith line. So this action figure is kind of special to me. Not this particular sample you're looking at here, but one I had previously before this. It was the second Clone Trooper I ever owned in my collection. The first being the Quick Draw Attack Clone Trooper, which I still have to review on the channel for Revenge of the Sith. At the time of Attack of Clones, I've probably talked about this a little bit before, but I never got any Clone Troopers during Attack of Clones. I do recall seeing them in stores at the time, but there really wasn't a whole lot of options. We had the Clone Pilot, which was kind of hard to get a hold of even at that time. And then we had basically the Clone Captain with the tripod, I think. Then we had the Sneak Preview Clone, and those were pretty much it for Attack of Clones for 2002 going into 2003. I know there were a few other ones out there, but those were pretty much the main ones that you can get. So I didn't get any clones for Attack of Clones, and then, of course, by the time Revenge of the Sith, we had a plentiful amount of clones, and we had some super articulated ones as well, which was kind of an innovative thing at the time. So it ended up being the Quick Draw Attack Clone Trooper, and then not too long after that, I went ahead and got this guy at Walmart. I'm actually kind of surprised. I asked my parents at the time. We were just doing a normal grocery shopping, and I saw this. I was like, "Hey, could I get this?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." But I'm glad they did. There is a picture of me. I would have to find it, and when I do, I might show it on YouTube at some point. But back around 2005, 2006, I was outside with all my Revenge of the Sith action figures I had at the time, and I was actually holding this guy, acting like he's flying around. So because of things like that, this guy is very special to me. But to go a little bit more in the history, so I do not have my original Aerial Clone Trooper anymore, unfortunately. I think it was around 2014 or 15 I ended up parting ways with him. And I really wish I didn't, but at the time I was thinking, he's not the most articulated clone trooper out there. In fact, in some ways, it's kind of infuriating with how his articulation is. I'll get into that here in a little bit. So I thought, well, because I can't really pose him how I want him, I'll just get rid of him. And I think I even pretty much sold him complete. I don't think I was missing any of the accessories. Maybe one of the missiles, and that was it. But this particular action figure you're looking at, I got at a comic book store loose in 2018. So he's been with my collection for a little while now. And this is the original one. This is not the Movie Heroes one. The Movie Heroes one has the holes at the bottom of their feet to accommodate a stand. These ones did not have it at all, the Revenge of the Sith ones. So I have a pretty long history with this particular clone trooper. I'm happy he's been part of my collection once again for quite a few years now, and hopefully many more to come. But now I look back a little bit more fondly with this guy. He's definitely been reutilized on multiple occasions throughout the years, but I think this was the very first sample of him. I'll just bring out another sample of him here real quick. It's the Coruscant Platform Clone Trooper, which I do have this battle pack reviewed on the channel. I think it comes with 4 of these guys, and then the Commander, which is basically a blue Bakara. But for this guy here, the sculpting work is really good on it. The only real drawback about it is, like I said, the articulation. And that's mainly in his arms here. This is pretty much the only pose you can get him in. In fact, we'll just go over the articulation right now before anything else. So he does have a ball joint head. Very nice. But he has swivel shoulders. And then he has swivel elbows. And it's not the type of swivel elbows where you can get his arms straight. It's, in fact, I'll just show it right now. Swivel elbows like that, where it just stays at a 90-degree angle. In fact, this elbow doesn't even want to bend on me. This elbow might not be articulated. In fact, now that I think about it, my original, I ended up breaking that elbow off, unfortunately. But I did glue it back into place, and it was pretty much like new. You could never really tell there was anything wrong. I'm sure that was another contributing factor why I decided to get rid of my original. But at the time, that always infuriated me. I like to try and get these guys in a lot more poses for their arms, and then the fact I couldn't, was just kind of like, why? This is irritating. And I had a very hard time trying to get the head on my original to articulate, so he was pretty much always looking straight. So there wasn't a whole lot I could do about it. But swivel elbows, no articulation in the wrists. He does have a swivel waist, I think, kind of, yeah. And then he does have swivel hips, then hinged knees and hinged ankles. But it's interesting that they decided to do the super articulation basically from the waist down, but then they just neglected on the elbows there. And for being a deluxe action figure at the time, which at the time of Revenge of the Sith, deluxe action figures were only $9.99. Looking back on it, it's like, whoa, only $9.99 for a deluxe action figure. But you know, at the time it was kind of expensive, and you think for charging a little bit of a markup for a $5.99 action figure, they could have gave the elbows. I would rather do without knees even, or ankles, or the elbows. But enough about articulation. As far as the sculpting work is concerned, it's really good. I think this, looking at this a little closer, this might be one of the best clone head sculpts that Hasbro's ever done. The proportions are really nice on it. The paint apps are pretty good. As you can see, it's kind of missing a little bit of black on the visor there, but that's an easy enough fix, and I think that's just something for this particular action figure. It's not like a common thing. But yeah, very nice helmet sculpt there. Even better than what we get today, I think. Black line above the brow there. Looks pretty good. It does have the lines painted on the side of his helmet there. Have the gray in the back here. And as for the rest of his armor, it's pretty standard. Proportions overall for this guy are really good. It's a very nice clone. So probably the main attraction is the jetpack here. It does have the Republic symbol on the wings here. You can fold the wings in, and you do have this red button here, and they pop out. You do have these two missiles here, which they don't really shoot out at all. They just stay in place. I'm not sure if Hasbro intended for these to be able to shoot out or not, but they pretty much just stay there, and that's it. And they don't even really go in very straight. But overall, the sculpt for the jetpack here is pretty good. This guy obviously does not show up in Revenge of the Sith at all. I think this is another one of those concept clones. It fits on him pretty good. And then because his sculpt has been reutilized for other clones, you can use this jetpack on these Coruscant landing platform clones as well if you want to. And the color scheme does blend in pretty good. You got the gray back here. Would be nice to get just a whole bunch of these jetpacks by themselves and then add them to all four of the guys I have. And I wouldn't even mind getting multiples of these. And you can get them in some decent poses despite the arm articulation. On the Republic gunship for the Revenge of the Sith line, the one that has the green color scheme, I think Hasbro used these guys to model for the clones featured on it. They look pretty good, and you can tell you can get some dynamic poses out of them. Yeah, if you work with it, you could probably get them in a crouching position, for example. terms of the other weapons, of course, he has the, for whatever reason, they decided to include the droid sniper rifle with him. And this is one of the rifles that comes with the weapons lockers for the Saga Legends line and Legacy Collection. Yeah, for whatever reason, Hasbro decided to give him a droid rifle, which is alright. I think he looks pretty good with it. Of course, if you have a bunch of spares lying around, you can give him any rifle you want. But that's pretty much all the accessories for this action figure. You know, thinking back on it, it's kind of surprising that Hasbro considered this to be a deluxe. I suppose the only deluxe feature about it is the jetpack here, but does it really justify for a $4 markup? I guess so. We know in today's world, Hasbro would definitely do something like that. But back in 2005, it wasn't too common of a thing, so I guess throughout the years, Hasbro has had their moments where it's like, what? This is a deluxe feature? But that's pretty much all I can tell you about this aerial jet trooper. Would I recommend him for your collection? I totally would. It's a fantastic action figure. Even though I don't have my original anymore, thinking back on it, I think I had a lot of good reasons for deciding to part ways with him. Like I said, the arm was broken. I may have been missing one of the missiles, and I could not get the neck to articulate in any way at all, no matter how much I tried. But I am glad that a couple years after the fact of getting rid of my original, I tracked one down again. And he's been part of my collection for 6 years now. But I have a lot of good memories with my original. Like I said, there's some photos out there of me having them fly through the sky with the rest of my Revenge of the Sith action figures. You know, if I ever find that photo again, which I know it's lying around somewhere, I might feature that on the channel. As far as price is concerned, I don't think this guy's worth too much. I forget what I paid for this one at the time, maybe like $10 at most. Between the Movie Heroes one or this one, or the Revenge of the Sith one, I don't think there's a huge difference in price. But whether you find one loose or brand new, I don't think it's that big of a deal. If you don't have one of these guys in your collection, I recommend getting at least one. I would not mind getting multiples at some point. But that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support, and check out some links in the description if you haven't done so already. Of course, as always, thanks for watching.